Hey you guys, welcome back to Michael Clarida Arts. Today we're going to be continuing on our quest to create cartoon characters as a daily warm-up. Today we're going to be drawing Disney's Eeyore. Let's get started. And here we are again at my standing drawing desk. So, took a little bit of a hiatus over the weekend, had some family things I had to take care of, do some traveling. However, this is where we landed last week. We started in the process of doing our cartoon character. So here's Pluto. We always love Pluto. Then we had done, of course, I didn't mention, we'd done Phineas and Ferb. And I believe we started out with Mickey Mouse, because he was kind of the original, the OG. Yeah, Mickey Mouse. So, today we're going to be drawing, as I had mentioned, Eeyore. Eeyore is, I don't know, a lot of people love Eeyore. They're like, yeah, Eeyore's my spirit animal. I'm like, well, that's sad, because Eeyore is typically sad. He's depressed. He has a very cynical outlook on life in general, but I think that it would be folly to ignore his character in the context of what we're trying to accomplish here, which is a daily warm-up of fun characters. Now, although he is not, I would say, fun, he has been part of the Disney universe for quite a while. For those of you who don't know, Winnie the Pooh, this is the universe he is from. Winnie the Pooh, and I think that a lot of people like this character. Like I said, he is a little down, but I'm sure if I analyzed everything as it pertains to Eeyore, I would probably see that he was joyful in some capacity, because there is a balance with everybody. But Eeyore is fun. So Eeyore is not too hard to draw, and you're like, wait a minute. You say that about everything. And I'm like, well, he's not overly complicated. Whereas a character, which we will get into, like Beast is pretty complicated. I've actually drawn Beast before on this channel, and he was a challenge for sure. Beast being designed by Disney animator Glenn Keane, who is a master in animation. Doesn't work for Disney anymore, does his own thing, which I love. Along with a lot of the old traditional animators, I do believe that Glenn Keane worked on Tangled, and he worked on some other internal projects, but he no longer works for Disney, and I'm not sure why. I'm sure that at some point in time there was creative differences, blah blah blah, who cares? He is a great animator and a fantastic person, just by the things I've seen on not only social media, and his daughter's really, really good. Definitely look her up. I believe she's a character animator and character designer, and I think she works for Disney. So, I did not have the opportunity to work with Glenn Keane. Unfortunately, that would have been a dream come true. I did meet him, which was interesting. He was part of the recruiting team, or at least he showed up at Ringling College of Art and Design when I was there back in the 2000s, whenever they were developing Tarzan, and he of course was the lead animator on Tarzan, and I got to meet him. He was a delight, very nice. I also got to meet Ruben Aquino and some of the other Disney animators that really influenced my early decision to be an artist. It's so funny. These people just go about doing their their life and their career. They don't realize the influence they have over people to make life decisions. And I saw, of course, Glenn Keane, he gave an encouraging word. That was awesome. Ruben Aquino, which I believe was the person who designed Ursula, the Sea Witch. And I did see Eric Goldberg, and he was very pleasant. He was the one that designed the genie. I've never met Aaron Blaze, but I've always wanted to. He has a channel that I have purchased many tutorials from him. He's got a channel that and a website. If you don't know what it is, it's creatureartteacher.com. And he is just, he's a consummate teacher, and he just recently came out with a self-published movie. And he drew the entire thing. And I don't know if he had other people that went in and did some of the cleanup and whatnot, but he drew everything. Backgrounds, you name it. Just an amazing feat in and of itself. It's called Snow Bear. Look it up. It's very touching. It really is amazing. Aaron told his story about him working at Disney and some of the pitfalls working at Disney, but also what happened in his own personal life and his journey that led him to where he is currently. And it's very touching. I'd highly recommend you watch that, because it'll give you perspective on him as a person, but also as an artist. So definitely look up some of his videos. And he talks very candidly about his experience at Disney and what it takes to be in that particular environment, as well as some of his personal journey, and again, that led him to his creation of Snow Bear. What a wonderful, wonderful, traditionally drawn animated feature. Look it up. It's worth the watch. It's about, I think it's 20 minutes, 15-20 minutes. So, yeah. Look it up. Anyway, go and give him some love on his website. He definitely is somebody that is an encourager and has a lot of experience. I'll tell you, in today's day and age of AI and a lot of that stuff, it is refreshing to meet somebody or watch somebody that still comes from the old schools. And I am a huge proponent of traditional drawing, as well as digital drawing, because digital drawing definitely has its feet in traditional. So, yeah. Alright, so what we're doing is we're messing up his hair right now, because I'm talking. Yeah, that hair's completely jacked. A little bit too big. That's okay. He's been out for a night of partying. Winnie the Pooh. I love Pooh. I had to. I'm sorry. Golly, settle down. I love Winnie the Pooh. The biggest thing that I love about Winnie the Pooh isn't the storyline, which I love. It isn't the characters, which I adore. My affinity with Winnie the Pooh has to do with the backgrounds. I am in love with the backgrounds. I love the softness. I love the quaintness. I love the watercolor feel. I've always loved watercolor. I've always had a desire to do watercolor. And I have, don't get me wrong, I have done some watercolor, but I've always wanted to do more, and I'm constantly learning better techniques with regards to watercolor, but I am not there yet. So don't expect any watercolor demos from me anytime soon. I am a acrylic painter. I paint a lot in acrylic, but watercolor is very loose and chaotic. And I haven't found my inner watercolor artist yet. You could argue that markers are very close to watercolor, and I would say yes, because you're putting down a liquid and it goes into the paper. But watercolors, it's just different, and I think it's absolutely beautiful. And the backgrounds in Winnie the Pooh, a lot of them, I believe, are watercolor. And I love them. Eeyore, of course, for those of you who don't know, he's a little negative and he's a little depressed. And I usually kind of shy away from those because I'm for the most part a very positive person. Most of the time, encourager, and Eeyore is just kind of a drag. I'm like, Eeyore, you're a drag. Let's go ahead and do this. Yeah, I really messed up the hair. I apologize. That's okay. He's been partying all night. That's what he's been doing. Okay, let's go up and we'll go down. We'll come here, we'll go down, we'll go up. Here. Like I had indicated before, at Disney, they do have people that do this all the time. The character artists, and they are absolutely amazing at it. I did have the opportunity to design a new version of Mickey Mouse, which was a dream come true, called Mickey Edge. That was my first project when I was at Disney, and that was amazing. I remember one of the artists, he came up and he's like, "What are you doing?" I said, "Oh, I'm doing a new version of Mickey Mouse." He goes, "What?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Wait a minute. Why didn't they give that to a character artist?" And I'm Joe Schmo. I don't know anybody there and stuff. I go, "I don't know." And he's like, "Huh." And then, of course, I realized later they did that is because they wanted a new take. And even though the artists that work there are extremely capable, especially the character artists, they wanted somebody from the outside to come in and kind of feel their way of who that character is and give their own interpretation that's something new. And it was amazing. See, that's a company that isn't afraid to take chances. And it was wonderful. What I was getting at is they have people that really are so good at these characters. They got them like the back of their hands. And it's just, I love being around like-minded, positive encouragers. Because that's kind of where I lie. I'm an encourager because I know this stuff is hard. And I know you can do it as a skill. Does it take time to develop skills? Absolutely. Does it take time to weed out a lot of those bad drawings? Yes. That's why this daily exercise, hopefully you're following along, this daily exercise can act as an encourager. Let's go ahead and shade that in. As an encourager for you to start your own journey. If not cartoon characters, you can go back in my history and see that I actually started in the month of January with animals. I am a prolific animal artist. I love doing animals. It's kind of my jam. And you can do so much with animals. I just definitely think you should try. If anything, try it for a month. If you fail miserably, you can look and you can say, wow, I remember that month. That was so fun. I remember drawing. and just, oh, some of the stuff I did was just so bad. But near the end, I kind of had a turn, and things were good. Yeah. So this is number 1 of 3 for Disney's Eeyore. MC 26. Let's get to the next one. Okay. Moving on to the next drawing. We only have one. Let me see. We have 1, 2, 3 pages left in the Tone sketchbook. We will probably be segueing over to another sketchbook just because I want to keep things rolling. For those of you interested here, we are drawing Eeyore. Eeyore today. I like Winnie the Pooh. I like poo. Alright, stop it. My son would say, Dad, no. No. Stop it. Stop the madness. I have a teenage son. He'll be turning 18 soon. And I remember when I was 18. I'm sure some of you do as well. Some of you probably are 18. 18's a hard age because you see a lot of your friends that start getting their crap together. And some people don't have their crap together at 18. Crap together mean a vision for what you want to do, the energy and the gumption and the drive to make things happen, and you're just barely getting out of your infancy and stepping into your big boy and big girl shoes. And let me tell you something. I remember 18 being a challenge. For sure. There are things that I wanted to do when I was 18. I want to steal the moon, fly to the moon, shrink the moon, take the moon, sit on the toilet. No, that's not what I wanted to do. I didn't want to do any of that. No. When I was 18, I want to drive my car fast. I want to go fast. I was obsessed with cars. And I worked to basically make my car go fast. And I wanted a cool stereo and a lot of the things that a lot of us did when we were younger in that age. And wasted a lot of money and a lot of time on things that had no return. Because of course I got rid of the car. I was no longer wanting to go fast, and I had spent so much time and energy on that endeavor that when they finally come and I had my head on straight, that I had to kind of work a little bit harder because I was kind of behind the ball. Now, you can argue that I wasn't ready for certain things, and I would completely agree with you, but I just wasted a lot of time and money on something that had no return, other than the knowledge I got from working on said car. Which I can't say that it was all done in vain, because I have had the ability to fix my family's cars throughout the ages of our tenure being married, and it saved us hundreds, if not thousands of dollars. But Did it help me draw pictures? Did it help me pay the bills? Did it help me do any of that? No. So definitely, if you're turning 18 or if you are 18, take stock. I've told my son this. You definitely want to make sure and do things that have some type of return. Yeah. So what I'm doing now is basically putting in his ears. Eeyore has his ear, of course, if you don't know, is a donkey. He's a donkey, but he's also a plushie. He's a stuffed animal because he comes from that world of Christopher Robin. And that in and of itself is wonderful, that whole story. And so you have to think in terms of weight. Let's imagine for just a moment that Eeyore is not a donkey. Because he's a donkey, but he is a plushy donkey, and plushies, they're filled with stuff. And you have to treat that as such. In school, we did an exercise called in animation, did something called the flour sack test. And basically, the flour sack test is designed not only to help you simplify shapes and animate and not overcomplicate, because you're gonna inadvertently, if you're gonna be an animator, you're gonna inadvertently do things that are very complicated. But the flour sack exercise is designed to keep things simple. And I can remember doing my flour sack, and one of the things that the teacher said is you have to think in terms of weight, gravity, form, and how the flour sack is filled with a material that is affected by gravity. And that is what is happening here. So whenever Eeyore sits, all that aggregate material is down below, and he kind of fans out like this because he's full of stuff. And whenever his legs sit, even though he is a cartoon character, he's still a plushie. So I have to think, okay, he's filled with stuff. How is that going to play in the character? Like this arm coming around is going to be bottom heavy because, again, the elbow, so it's going to be like this. We've got the seam right here. And whenever he's holding stuff, whatever he's holding is going to affect his body. So yeah, these are things that I think about whenever I draw pretty much anything. I think skeletal, I think skin. Here's that leg that comes down. Because you got to think line of action. Where's that line of action coming? And here's the weight. All of his weight is being put on this hand. So it's going to be right here is kind of the point of contact. There we go. And that comes down. And that's his seam. And then again, he is a filled plushie. So you're going to have these folds that kind of fan out and kind of push. You're pushing that form a little bit. Here's the seam right here. And instead of drawing straight across, this is a round form, so it comes towards me. So I'm going to have to draw in such a way that shows that it is coming toward me. Okay. And then we come to the other side. Here's his hip. Again, we're going to draw through a little bit because this breaks the plane. of his form. Just a skosh. We're going to have that other ear come out. I'm going to compare to the other ear. And it has to be lower because his head is tilted and down. So it's tilted and down slightly. I need to make sure and watch the size. There we go. And then his hair, which I messed up on the other one. Let's see if we can't have a redemption story here. He's got his eyebrows kind of stuck in that continual, oh, you can hear him talking. He's got his little thing right there. Yeah. I wonder, because a lot of these stories that we grew up with have such complex, interwoven themes. What Eeyore represents? Does he represent human reality? Does he represent pessimism? Skepticism? Depression? That's why growing up I really shied away from Eeyore. Because he wasn't happy. And I'm like, good grief, man. I don't know what is it, Xanax? Take a Xanax! But to draw him is a pleasure. I had the opportunity to draw Powerpuff Girls back in the day. Powerpuff Girls for Cartoon Network. I did Powerpuff Girls, which we might do on this channel, because I've drawn them before. Powerpuff Girls and Scooby-Doo, and that was a fun project. Oh, so I did them for animation. I did some model sheets and stuff, character, because they have to have, animators have to have model sheets and stuff. So that was really a lot of fun. Okay. Gotta have his tail. His tail loops around, comes up. And his tail, because pin the tail on the donkey, right? He's gotta kind of, what, that hurts every time they pin it on him. Probably not, because he's a plushie. He's not real. I think they're all plushies, aren't they? Because some have that plush look to them, and some do not. Tigger. I love Tigger. He's my fave. Because he's so happy. I want to be happy. Because everything in the world looks like it's a big dumpster fire. Dumpster fire. Okay, let's shade these in a little bit. This is almost done. These are fun. I encourage you. It's been a minute since I've drawn some Disney characters. It's been just a hot minute. You know? Because I like doing other stuff. But Disney characters are fun. For sure. Let's go ahead and shore up this ear. Tie it down. Let me have a little some flowers. Flower. as they say up here in the Appalachian Mountains. Flower. Pretty sure that's flower, not flower. Anyway, that, my homies, is drawing number 2 of Eeyore. MC 26. Let's move on to the next one. And for those of you who didn't notice, shame on you, I forgot to put one of his key things in, which was the bow on his tail. Here is the bow on his tail, on his tail, on his tail. Alright. Let's move over to the next drawing of the Eeyore's. Sharpen the pencil as I reach around and try and find the pencil sharpener. I want to go too sharp. Okay, here we are. Last drawing of Eeyore. Again, starting out with that simple shape is key. Putting in some of these simple areas. You can see very quickly that I keep things extremely loose. First of all, because I haven't drawn, I don't think I've ever drawn Eeyore. I think this might be the first time that I've ever drawn this character. I don't know. I can't remember if I've ever drawn it. Maybe back when I was a little whippersnapper. I did him. I don't remember. But he is fun. Okay. It's fun drawing a depressed character. Anyway, I have heard people, Eeyore, I love Eeyore so much. Eeyore is my spirit animal. Okay, okay. I'll get you a cookie. Okay. Yes. Trying to tie down the eyes in a 3/4 view on a character like this is not easy. It's not. I'm sorry to disappoint you. But for me, like I had indicated before, for me, drawing is sometimes a challenge. Is it fun? Yes. Is it relaxing? Yes. Do I need to do it or else I'll explode? Yes. All those things are yes. But sometimes it is challenging. And you would probably guffaw. Huh? Guffaw. You'd probably be surprised on how much I draw. Just to maintain what I do. You'd be like, what? Ain't nobody got time for that. The thing is if I don't do stuff like this, I suffer for it. Meaning, I'm rusty. It takes me longer to do things. It affects every aspect of my being. And for me in my house, we will draw. Hours a week. Hours. And that's the truth. Yeah, Eeyore's fun. It reminds me a lot of my dog. My dog gives me this puppy dog look. And he's like, I love you. Can I just have one bite of your cookie? No. No cookies for you. Even though I'd love to give him a cookie, feeding animals and dogs in general human food is not something we do. Me and my family. We learned the hard way, unfortunately, how much food can affect a dog, because years and years ago we had one that in a very short order, because of the food, not human food, but some pedigree food, that they ended up recalling after he passed, and it ended up having some stuff in it that was terrible. And that was, my wife and I really decided then that we were going to get our dog the best food we could for the money, and that was never going to be a factor. And we do. Some dogs are able to do things and eat whatever, but I've had the experience of having to go through that process of letting a doggy loved one go, and that was not something I ever want to have happen again because of food. And it's not like we didn't try our darndest to save him. We did. Lots and lots of money spent, and at the end of the day, it didn't matter because it was already in the process, and he loved us, and that was challenging. And we didn't have a dog for a very long time after that. And now we've got one, and he's awesome. We love him so much. He is our dog. Yeah. Look at the arm that comes up, comes down. There's that fold again. And there's another fold right there. Comes like that. And there's his other foot. Yeah, so I had to take a little bit of a hiatus. I apologize for that. Had some family challenges. For those of you who have not been following, I have an elderly father in his 90s. And you can connect the dots. When you're that old, your body is challenged. Not everybody can be lifting 500 pounds at 90 years old. But he's just old. Anywho, so that's where I was over the weekend. So, Eeyore. Eeyore being a member of the Pooh family. I like Pooh. Okay. Comes ear in. Yeah, Eeyore's fun. Can't forget this. Because I forgot it before. And people were like, what? Where's his tail? You can't forget his tail. No. His tail's pinned on. That's gotta hurt. Aw. Oh, Eeyore. I think what it is he looks so pathetic. You just want to hug him. Hug and hold. It's alright, Eeyore. It's okay. You got this. Draw a little bit of a shadow underneath here. And I think that's where we're going to land. I need to do his other nostril. Dang, what am I? What is this, amateur hour? Yeah. Eeyore from the Poohverse. Poohverse. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the sketch and chat today. The warm-ups. I am officially warmed up. Warm up. A little bit of a shadow. White shadow. Okay. And that's where we're going to land. Like and subscribe if you like what you see. Please share. Hit that notification bell because we're going to be doing these videos all month. All month instead of all night long. All month. Don't know what I'm doing tomorrow. Anyway, we'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a good one. Bye.